Hey strangers!
Prajakta Koli, actress, YouTuber, author, and of course,
An influencer released a romance novel. So I feel like it's only fair that I give my 2 cents on it. So I took one for the team and read Too Good to Be True by Prajakta Koli. This book it has some polarizing reviews. There are people saying that it's the perfect rom-com and it's hilarious, and then there are people who are actually speaking the truth. If you can't tell, a good review of this book for me would be Too Good to Be True. On that topic, my aim isn't to shame the author nor any of the people who enjoy this. That is not what I'm trying to do here. This is just a book review to anyone who might want to see what the book's like, who might want to know what they're gonna get into. Last thing I want to mention is that I want to give y'all the full immersion of this rant review. So of course there will be spoilers ahead, but I don't think that should matter because there wasn't much to spoil. So let's dive into the story, or lack thereof. Avan and Avni. What? Aman and Avni. Great start. Okay, let me introduce you to our main character, okay? She's Avni. She's a law student living in South Bombay, and she likes to read, which is pretty much all we know about her. I'm exaggerating, but not by much.
she only mentions it like every 5 pages.
Because of her love for books, she works part-time for a bookstore. As her friend describes her, "You're studying to be a lawyer, Annie. You already don't have a life. Why would you want to spend 5 hours every day selling books and counting cash when you could do literally anything else in that time? Or anyone else?" I get it that this is her debut novel, but the dialogues are so...
Brother,
Here's how their meet cute, I guess if you can call it that, happens. She's working at the bookstore, right? And this is how she describes him. Here we go. He was tall, about 6'2" or 6'3". He wore a navy blue suit, the kind men on the covers of spicy romance novels wear.
Slay!
His hair was dark and styled neatly away from his face. He couldn't have brown eyes, could he? But there it was. Here's my favorite part. Brown like the cover of my favorite leather-bound notebook. Brown like the color of that singular dusty ray of light coming in through the top window, just touching his hair and shining on the floor. Brown like the wooden shelves and floor of the bookstore. Brown like the coffee in the mug I was holding. Brown like the sand on chapati at twilight. Brown like the color of my skin. Brown like the shit show this is turning into. This girl is down bad. Like, at the first glance, she's ready to end it all. And this is how their first conversation goes, which is a great representation of how the whole book is. How much is this one? I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
awkward.
This is when we get a POV from Aman. So this is a 2 POV book. We get Avni's POV and Aman's POV. And so we get to know a little bit about Aman. Aman is a CEO of a Raina Textiles. It's a CEO billionaire romance story. All we get to know about Aman is that he has no issues. His life is great, perfect life. And he just can't stop thinking about this one girl he met at the bookstore. So much so that he keeps finding excuses to go to the bookstore. Even though their first conversation was like so bland. The way she and her friends talk is just so... Talk, bitch. About what? About Avni's new hot rod, boy toy, man muffin, stick. Ew! Because we are reading a POV. The way this character they keep interacting with the reader as if we're sitting and they are telling us a story. It just feels like a mockumentary and gives the whole book just a weird off vibes. Like, I don't want you talking to me, the reader. Just do things. Instead of doing it, it's basically like a monologue being written. So by the third time he walks into the bookstore, Avni invites Aman to like a happy hour they have at the bookstore.
Apparently, the bookstore is also a bar, it's also a club.
Which of course it is. Here's what I mean when I say that they have no banter, they have no chemistry at all. I feel like one of us should start talking about the stars. Why? Because that's what they do in movies in such situations. I don't see any stars. We can talk about the pollution though, or the depleting ozone layer, or the melting of the glaciers, or the importance of waste segregation to reduce carbon. Ooh, dirty talk this early in the relationship? I'm a lady, Aman. See what I mean? I have seen more chemistry in a commerce classroom.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
He asked for her number, and this is her reply. "I know you're cute, Aman Rena, but if you want my number, you're going to have to do a lot better than simply ask." Just creating hurdles, because why not? Because we just have so much time in the world, because this book is 224 pages long. Because Aman is not a stalker, he is not able to get a hold of her number, and he also,
One of his dogs gets sick and he has to go home, Mussoorie.
so she's panicking like, oh my god, I lost my chance. 2 weeks passes by. Martin is the barista of the bookstore, because the bookstore is, yes, also a cafe. So Martin texts her, Aman is here. So she ditches class and goes to the bookstore to meet this guy. Aman asks her out to a date. I would have worn my expensive perfume. Instead, I was in my maroon kurta and jeans with my hair in a lazy ponytail and a small silver jhumkis in my ear. Thank God I'd worn my kolapuris instead of my regular slippers. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Prajakta Koli, the author. But even I could tell. Just search Prajakta Koli, and this book was basically turning into a self-insert ex-CEO fan fiction, which is fine. I don't have any problems with it. But as a fan fiction, why would I pay to read someone else's insert? They go to this Italian date spot. Their conversation, I mean, again, it's just so bland. Like, I bet their conversation thinks salt is spicy. Why are we sitting away from everyone else? Like you're some gang lord who has the police looking for him. I thought we'd want some privacy. Ooh, is there more knuckle kissing on the cards? I hope you have protection. Are you 16? What is this conversation? So they finally exchange phone numbers. They're talking on the phone, and Avni says to Aman that you've already met all my friends at the bookstore. I want to meet your friends. So Aman says, okay, come over, meet them. To which Avni says, there's a party, is it? And they'll all be there? Which is such an odd thing to assume out of the blue. If it sails the plot, then who am I but a willing passenger?
So it turns out Aman just went along with it and there was no party, but then he created a party so that Avni can meet his friends.
This is so funny. So he's calling his friends. There's a party now and you need to come. His friend says, our man's met a girl. Spill, dude. This is so odd. I cannot imagine a 31-year-old dude saying spill, dude. That's hilarious to me. Oh, we also get a little bit of OF shaming from Avni. Consequently, I spent the first 4 days of my life in the building stressing over what to wear and how much makeup to apply, so I didn't look like I had an OnlyFans account.
Whatever that means.
She gets to the party. She talks to Aman's friend, but turns out they're all just like, they're bland because, you know, rich people are boring. Except Aman, who's perfect, who's not at all boring. Avni gets blackout drunk, and then she wakes up in her room and she panics because obviously,
What happened?
but turns out nothing had happened because Aman's a good guy, guys. The only reason I can think of the author including this whole part is to show the readers that Aman's a gentleman. This is a good thing, no doubt, but it's like the bare minimum. So Aman comes to Avni's home. They are doing cutesy couple stuff, but still they don't talk at all. This is the conversation. You're gorgeous, you know that. I might have heard that every now and then, yes. They don't have any real conversation. It just feels like filler. It just feels like the monologue of the happy family before an accident takes them all out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this just doesn't feel like it's the main story, but it is. Here is, I think, where we get the main conflict, the main plot point of this whole book. So Aman is at Avni's home, and Avni is talking to him about how she feels that he's just too good to be true. Why do you ask? Just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't follow. Being with you is like being in a public washroom.
What? What the fuck?
Tell me one thing that you don't like about yourself. Anything. And you know what his flaw is? You know what Aman's flaw is? His flaw is that he doesn't take out time enough to visit his parents in Mussoorie. That's apparently his flaw. Give me a break. Because she doesn't get anything wrong about him, so she like keeps questioning him. Yes, anything that tells me you aren't God's favorite child. I sing Britney Spears songs in the shower. This guy just does not seem real. In not like a dreamy, he doesn't seem real sense. There is something wrong with him. I would have been so much more impressed if the whole time Aman wasn't real. Like, that would have been more impressive, but alas, it was but a missed opportunity. He just quite literally seems like a projection of not only the main character, but also the author. Everything is so on the nose. We should call it blackheads the way it's so on the nose. And then they guess.
I'm not gagging.
Aman asks her, like, be my girlfriend. Avni's reaction is just so dramatic. And there it was, the other shoe. It had dropped. This guy was mad, delusional, not in his right mind. Couldn't he see it was too soon? We'd known each other for just about 2 weeks and he wanted me to be his girlfriend? Had he even figured out what he didn't like about me? And there was a lot to not like. How could he want me to be his girlfriend? What about love? God, he didn't ask you to marry him. She freaks out, and one thing about Avni is that whenever anything in her life goes wrong, she goes to her friends because they are her comfort space, and these friends have just unexplainable amount of free time for her. All of them are just jobless, I guess. So she tells her friends that the reason she freaked out was because she just feels like there's something wrong with him which she hasn't found yet. To which Maya says, how do you know he's perfect? Maybe if you spend some time with him, you'll learn about his flaws. Which apparently no flaws. We don't get any flaws from this guy whatsoever. I am mad at Avni, but I get her point. Like, she feels like she doesn't know this guy. But instead of just getting up and leaving, why can't you just have a conversation with him like a normal human being?
So simple, like, hi Aman, I like you, but I don't know you enough. So can we like go on a few dates first and get to know each other?
The book is drowning in the most ridiculous train of thought, and that's coming from the main character. You can't escape that. It's not like it's a multiple POV where I can just skip that one POV that is irritating. It's like the irritating POV makes up most of this book. And then we have Avni just disagreeing with everything that she previously said. God, I'd missed him. Maybe it was the guilt of having behaved the way I had. Maybe it was the utter confusion about why I had issues with trusting this man who had given me nothing but happiness in whatever time I'd spent with him. I get that she's hesitant about getting with the man because she barely knows him, but why don't you just voice that out to the person? Why do you have to make this break so dramatic? This is so unnecessary. Avni actually calls Aman and asks him to meet at her house, so he does. You would expect that after that huge hurdle in the relationship, they are going to talk about why she did what she did and what were the reasons behind them, right? No! We don't get anything. You don't need to know why I acted the way I did. The only thing I needed to know was that you like me. Are you kidding me? Why are these people so against actually talking? Another one of their hurdles happened.
Again. A fucking again.
Basically, all their fights in the relationships are just Avni freaking out that she's not good enough for him. He's like a god and she's a mere peasant who's lucky to be in his presence. And Aman just being confused. Are you ashamed of me? Why the hell would I be ashamed of you? I don't know. You tell me. What's going on with me? Did I do something? Nothing. I really can't tell with you sometimes. Can't you just say what you're thinking and make it easier for both of us? All three of us, actually. What I'm thinking is, maybe you don't want me to meet all your friends because I work at a bookstore and all those other girls, are like Victoria's Secret models. Her insecurity is like she's not like the other girls. Oh, I get it. She's not a pick-me girl. She's a pick-me guy.
You're so gorgeous and I'm so ugly.
They have no conversation whatsoever. Aman is just like, you're perfect and I like you the way you are. That's what makes you beautiful. So finally, there is a mention that the author remembers that Avni is a law student. She gets her result and it was bound to happen. Immediately, once again, Avni just freaks the F out. It's not okay. I can't keep doing this with Aman. So she's like, I need to break up. I have to break up. She's so desperate for something to be wrong in the relationship that it gets frustrating. So she's panicking and she again goes to her friends.
Oh, I truly like him. He makes me feel good and there's nothing wrong with him.
So Maya is like, if you truly like the guy, why don't you tell him that? You know how she was panicking like 5 minutes ago about how she should break up? She calls up Aman and asks Aman if the author of her being his girlfriend still stands. Pick a struggle. So they become official and instantly just start PDA to the max. They are in the bookstore, just make out session. His hands moved from my neck to my waist as he picked me up and gently put me down on top of the coffee bar. He moved in close as he deepened the kiss and ran his hands up and down my back.
What the fuck? Is this allowed? What the fuck? Is that allowed?
You know how Aman says he's such a bad person because he doesn't take enough time to go meet his parents. So what does Aman do? He's planning a trip to Mussoorie to meet his parents. And he asked Avni to tag along. Now I'm sure you think that Avni, being smart, law student, having failed 3 of her exams, would instead choose to stay and study for her exams, right? Now, why would you think that? I don't mean to shame anyone for failing an exam. Despite failing, you're not that serious about your studies, is what it's looking like.
What I mean is, it seems as if the author is just using the law degree as an aesthetic. And I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way that this extremely strenuous academic degree is being used simply as a quirky trope without dipping into the nuances of the complexities that come with it.
So they went to Mussoorie and he took a private jet because here is probably, I think I zoned out while reading this. There is so much info dump. If it's the start of the book and the whole story is going to take place in that particular place, then I understand the information about that place. But this place, Aman's home, is just here for 2 to 3 chapters, right? Why do we need so much information on this mansion?
You're jealous of my mansion? Yes!
Now take the Raichand mansion and make it slightly more believable. Look at this! Look at all this! That is too much. That is to meet someone's parents and
Oh my god, the parents love her already. And oh my god, it's all so sweet.
obviously sharing a room, and they do end up. I threw caution to the winds and took matters into my own hands. Make what you want of that last line. Who am I to tell you what to think and what not to? All I can say is that he hums when he wink wink nudge nudge. Wink wink nudge nudge. Wink wink nudge nudge. Be so for real. The author has mentioned that this is an 18 plus books and is not advisable for a younger audience, but I mean this is the extent of it. The wink wink nudge nudge is all we get. So I don't know why the author said that there is spice in this book, but because there is none. Okay, so Gagan finally arrives. Like any sane person, Gagan starts asking Avni about her, what she does, and Aman's dad just completely cut him off. So Avni, where do you work? Let's not scrutinize the guest already, Gagan. He just asked where she works. Gagan comes to Avni and Aman's room. Can I come in? You may come in, I said, deliberately correcting him. She really thought she ate.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that?
So much about you. We can cut this small talk, Ananya. That was funny. Am I just a hater? Am I just a hater of this Avni character, and the first character I see hating on Avni, I just immediately latch onto that character? Is that what's happening? I hope that's not what's happening. Avni, sorry, that was rude. Avni, I knew that. That's okay. I don't want you taking this wrong way. And don't read too much into this. Into what? You being here with my family. Gagan, are you asking me to leave, Aman? I'm asking you not to get your hopes up. That was a little uncalled for, but I mean, there isn't something terribly wrong with what he said. Aman and Avni goes to explore Mussoorie together, and Gagan calls Aman in between of their date. And he's like, don't you want to be home with your family now that we are all together? Agreed! Go spend time with your family, weirdo. And here author reminds us of how painfully awkward they are around each other. You're not nervous about the party anymore, are you? Not really. No, I'm fine. Are you sure? Yes. I'll be right next to you the whole time. I know. I love you, baby. They are so bland. Their conversation are so boring. The conversation probably watches the paint dry. I forgot to mention, there's a party for Aman's dad's retirement or something. It doesn't matter why the party's there. There's just a party. So because Gagan, in my opinion, very rudely got interrupted at the breakfast, he continues his interrogation down here. And where is home? Shastri Road near Flora Fountain. Wow, lovely neighborhood. The rents must be exorbitant. You manage that on a bookstore receptionist part-time salary? Which is such a valid question. This is the first question I had when I was reading the book. Like how as a law student is Avni living in South Bombay taking cabs every day? Like that's just not feasible, right? Like I was so happy. This is why I like Gagan actually, not because he hates Avni, not because of that. This is why I like Gagan, because he's asking the questions that I had from the very first page of the book. Gagan notices that all the questions he's asking to Avni, Aman is also listening to the answer for the first time. Aman is furious at Gagan. I didn't like that you were being a complete asshole to my girlfriend. How exactly did I do that? We both know what you're trying to do here. What I was trying to do was look out for my baby brother. And in any case, how would you achieve that? By treating my girlfriend like shit? What about my interaction with your girlfriend pissed you off? Did I ask her about her job? Or did I ask her about her family? What do her parents do? Where did she grow up? These are the first few questions people ask other people. Why couldn't you ask me? Why put her on the spot? Okay, I'll ask you, what are her parents' name? Which school did she go to? Who was her friend growing up? Where do her parents live? And Aman didn't know anything about any of the things that Gagan was asking. So Aman realizes, like, I actually don't know anything about her. What are we doing? So now Aman is starting to doubt himself as well. I had to admit, that there had been moments when I could tell that Martin, Ria, and Maya knew more about Avni's life and what had scarred her with insecurities and trust issues than I did. And here is where Gagan drops the bomb. He won this entire book. After being in your corner and rooting for you all these years, if one conversation with a girl can so easily rip us apart and make you question my intentions, I guess I don't have anything to protect in the first place. Let him cook! Mic dropped. Gagan 1, Aman and Avni 0. And Aman obviously feels horrible because he should. So Aman rejoins the party and reunites with Avni. And Avni immediately notices that something's wrong, like something has happened. Like, Aman, we need to talk. Yes, we do. Should we step away for a bit? She says, no. Why? Because I'm here to be with my parents. For one evening, you can think past what you want. Can we not? Which is, hey, I think it's valid. Sure, there was a better way to say he wasn't very nice about it. But what he said wasn't terribly bad. Apparently, this is all it took. I hadn't had a panic attack in months. And now wasn't the best time for it. Isn't that a bit much, Avni? Aman feels guilty that he was rude to her. So he follows her to her room and notices she was on call with someone. So Aman is like, who was that? And she replies, Martin. Which was the final stick. That was the final stick? That was the final... What is it called? The final stick. That was the final page. That was the last stick. Martin, yes, you can wait 10 minutes before you rant to him with all your life's problem again. Me, I know, who's just listening to me. And what is it about him that makes you comfortable enough to discuss our private issues? Does my consent on this not matter since I'm involved? I want to know, what did they do? How did this scar you so badly that you only doubt love and trust? What did they do? They died. Apparently the reason she's so distrusting of love is because her parents died. Which is a sad thing. Her parents dying is a sad thing. But how does that makes no sense.
Even in her own POVs, not once do we see her acknowledge that the reason of her trust issues is her parents dying. Like, it was clearly revealed as a shock factor rather than something that readers or even the character herself knew all along.
That does not make sense. Avni, just like she did before, she took her stuff and ran away from Mussoorie. And here's where we get to know that she only knows her friends for a year. Like, she's only known these people who she trusts everything with. Friends who she has known for a year, and Aman, who she's known for, I think, 5 months at this point. Somehow there is this huge gap between how much she tells each of these group of people. They don't talk for 3 months. This was their main breakup. She had started taking therapy, which is great, good for her. We get another infodom. That does feel better, doesn't it? Dr. Sneha Kumar, my Indian-American therapist, who also happens to be smoking hot in her mid-40s and gay, said, why do we need to know any of these? She realizes that it was a her problem. It was after all a me problem then, I heard myself say at the end of the session, which I was proud of. Thank you for realizing that it was your mistake. So it is her graduation. She had managed to pass all her law exams. At her graduation, 3 guesses who is there. Aman was there. I know you're upset, he said after an excruciatingly long pause. What gave that away? Avni, say more and say quick, Aman.
Flashback.
Which I was proud of. Thank you for realizing that it was your mistake.
Which I was proud of.
End of flashback.
I thought we concluded that it was your fault. Why are you still yelling at the guy?
This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read.
What is the reason for thinking that no matter how bad things got, giving up on us was completely okay way of dealing with it? What was going on in your mind when you decided to grace me with your presence on such an important day of my life? What did you think was going to happen? And lastly, what gave you the all idea of not being with me when I needed you the most? Girl, you asked him to let her go. Does this girl have selective memory amnesia? What is happening? Like, she's such an annoying character. She's the one who freaked out because he kept asking her questions. So when she asked him to give her space and he ends up giving her space, she complains that why was he giving her space and not pursuing her? And at the end, he was the one who reached out and she's blaming him for not pushing her sooner. Therapy is wasted on people like these. Why didn't you call? I gave you every reason not to, but why didn't you? You're supposed to be the mature, reasonable person in this relationship. The bigger person. I'm the one with issues who doesn't see a good thing when it's staring her in the face, but you know better. And you went missing. I asked you to leave me alone and you did. Why didn't you come? Why didn't you come when I dated you?
Why are you leaving me if I didn't do anything wrong? I don't understand. I thought you liked me.
I don't get this one. Are you 14? Stop embarrassing womankind all around. Oh, turns out all this time, Aman was trying to reach to her through emails solely for the plot, I guess. She had written a fake email some time ago in a very distant history, which it doesn't matter right now. But he was emailing a fake email, and that's why he wasn't able to actually reach her. Whew. That's the end. I'm so glad I finished.
That's what she said.
There were moments where I just wanted to skim read this whole book because it just got so repetitive. It had no plot whatsoever. In conclusion, nothing happens at all. Looking ahead of all the lack of plot and all that, the book needed like at least 5 more rounds of editing because it just felt so info-dumpy at points. It felt too conversational to my liking. Like it felt like the characters were talking to the reader all the times, which is just weirdly confrontational. It felt like a screenplay, basically. This conversational style is just an excuse for stating things. The book always tells, it never shows. Avni is just a frustratingly one-dimensional character with no depth to her. All her issues and all her anxieties, instead of being developed naturally, just serves as a plot point, just serves as a hurdle in the relationship, which showing anxiety as a hurdle in a relationship, come on now. Constant internal monologue, instead of making us feel relatable to her, just got repetitive and annoying by the end of it. Her character arc, it wasn't one about healing. It was just a refusal to accept happiness. And then there is Aman. Seemingly nothing wrong with him. He exists simply for Avni to put her frustrations onto. We are not told why he is the way he is, what is his passion, what does he want in life, what does he want from Avni, what does he want from himself. We don't get anything from him. He just exists there for Avni, seemingly too good to be true. But in doing exactly that, in being too good to be true, I'm afraid he becomes too good to be interesting. Flaws are not terrible. Like, people need to have flaws that they can overcome. Human beings aren't perfect. Where is this conversation going? Flaws are what makes character. This guy, because he has no flaws, he has no character. His wealth is kind of used to make him seem like this fairy tale, glamorous hero with no complexities or challenges. He's just a pretty boy. Because there is no conflict on only the female character's side, their conflicts just doesn't seem natural. We only have Avni's self-sabotage and Aman's endless amount of patience. It doesn't seem like a relationship. It just seems like Aman's doing a favor to Avni. I mean, the book is not problematic. That's good, I guess. It's not problematic. The age gap is fine, 25, 31. It's okay. I would have liked if they had acknowledged that. There isn't any major red flags about any of them. But still, I mean, the book was just so boring. I guess it's a nice message that in this era of red flag romance and problematic behaviors, I guess this is a nice ray of hope that a book does not have to be problematic for it to be considered bad. You know how if you're watching a movie or a series and you can tell that the actors are acting, it just ruins the experience. That's exactly what was happening in this book. I didn't see the characters doing what they're doing. I can see the author making the characters do what she wants them to do. Oh, and we're not going to talk about the acknowledgement. Please, come on. She acknowledges ChatGPT to help her write the acknowledgement. But then, what's the guarantee that she didn't use ChatGPT in the other parts of her book? It sucks that influencers with connections can just generate AI crap and then publish it, while so many good writers and authors are struggling to get their book released. It does make me mad. Ultimately, Too Good to Be True is just all surface, no depth. Literally, a glittering package. Too good to be true. All that glitters is not gold. The book genuinely felt like celebrity fan fiction that should be uploaded by a 14-year-old on Wattpad. No, sorry, fanfic.net. To give the author the benefit of the doubt, this is her debut novel. This is the first novel. And I doubt that she's going to be as terrible as this. As long as there is some serious constructive criticism on that end. I mean, if she does choose to continue writing books, I mean, there is no way to go but up, right? If you still want to read the book, I mean, I don't know why you would want to. But if you do still really want to read this book, I suggest you actually don't buy the book. Go to a library and borrow this book, because this book is just not worth spending that much over. So that ends this review. I hope I don't get sued by the author. Hit the like button. The way these characters hit on my nerves.
Consider subscribing if you had fun, totally free.
And also, let me know in the comments if you read the book and if you liked it, you want to see anything else from me. Bye.